into the box score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair and Justin Malden. He does the hard work, Murphy. We just sit here and grin.
He
and
about wears his fingers out, punching all those buttons.
That is for sure. We appreciate his hard work. And if we wear him out, we can get Nick Noakes to do his share, right?
I'm not going to get in the middle of that.
Let's go ahead and look at our featured game. It was one that Randy and I had on Monday night, and that was Gordonsville at Watertown. Renew a long rivalry. Used to be in the district, of course, not anymore. Gordonsville in the single A division and Watertown in District 5 AA. Macy Brady, a huge game, 24 points for Watertown, and then 3 threes for Daly Height. She's just a freshman with 13. 15-point lead for Watertown, and we'll talk about this with Coach Price a little bit later when we interview her. They got it back to 41-41 with 3 minutes left, and then Watertown goes on an 8-0 run to end the game to hold on for the victory. Gordonsville much improved under first-year head coach Terry Brock. Callie Underwood, outstanding game, 17 points. Mackenzie Herring was 16. Murphy, they used so much energy to get back into the game that once it got tied, you could just tell they were out of gas.
It happens sometimes to the best of them, you know.
Right.
But both of those teams have got very young coaches with very young players, and it's always a crapshoot when you hit the floor. Who's going to be ready and who's not.
And looking at the boys game, Gordonsville, a one-sided victory, jumped out to a big lead there in the first half. It was 31-16 at halftime for Coach Greg Bibb, and we are interviewing him a little bit later in the show. Carter Gibson, 15 points. Mason Greer, 12 points. 9 of those coming in the opening quarter. A couple of threes from Devin Brown, his dad, Darren. The principal at Watertown, once again, Murph, Watertown Purple Tigers struggling to score, and that seems to be their MO all year, just struggling to score.
I'm sure. I understand the foster kid's has been back for maybe a couple of games or so, so that's got to please the Gordonsville faithful with the tournaments just around the corner.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some scores. We want to thank PRI, that's Pavement Restorations Incorporated, for sponsoring this part of the show for us. And you've got Van Buren County girls at home beating Gordonsville last Friday night, 63-53. We talked about the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week. Watertown girls inching toward that 20-win plateau with a 49-41 victory. And then Jackson County girls at home beat Gordonsville 63-53. Gordonsville girls 9-13, 3-3 in the district, trying to stay in that 2-3 slot, Murphy. There's 5 teams, 4 plays 5 in a play-in game. Of course, you've got to win that game to get in the region. 1 is automatically in the region, and 2 and 3 are automatically in the region. And Gordonsville trying to do that, but they've got a couple of district games remaining due the Tigerettes.
There's still a lot of possibilities among the 5 teams that we cover on a regular basis. I'm just having a hard time trying to figure out who's going to play where once the postseason rolls around.
Definitely does. The Gordonsville's district, as the way I understand it, it's going to be played at Livingston Academy, which is the District 7A tournament. It has been there before. In fact, Gordonsville won its best wins ever. They upset Clark Range in that 4-5 game here a few years ago to knock Clark Range. The only time that Clark Range girls have never been to the region under Lamar Rogers, who's in his 49th year of coaching. So anyway, that is a team. We'll just have to see as it pans out who's going to, you look like Pickett's going to be your number 1 team there, but then not a lot of difference in Gordonsville, Clay County, and Clark Range. So Gordonsville beat Clay County at home in overtime, so we'll just have to wait and see. Looking at the scoreboard for the boys, PRI scoreboard, it's going to be Gordonsville going to Van Buren County, 65-68. The Van Buren County guy, and I can't remember his name, I think he had 43 points. Gordonsville then on Monday night goes to Watertown, wins 61-32, then they travel to Gainesboro the next night and lose 69-54. I think Jackson County somewhere around 20-2 now under Kevin Thomas, and no doubt looking to make a run to Murfreesboro in the state tournament. Gordonsville boys now stand at 15-9. and 4-2 in District 7A, and they're kind of locked in to that 2-3 semifinal game.
Terry, I've been in the Upper Cumberland 50 years, and you can always count on a boys team and maybe 2 girls teams out of the Upper Cumberland still playing in March.
Well, you look at last year, there's in any district in the state of Tennessee, only 2 teams can be playing in Murfreesboro, and last year that was Smith County and York girls. So that's just kind of proof in the pudding that and that happens more apt than not for the single A district that we're talking about in District 7A as well. Let's go ahead and look at the Cannon girls. Unfortunately, they lost to Forest 56-54. Murphy, they stayed behind against Community, but they wound up coming back and getting the win 42-40.
In that game against Forest, it was crazy. Forest led the entire game until about 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And then Cannon County tied it, and the lead changed hands 3 or 4 times. And Coach John Wild at Forest, who's won state championships at 3 different schools in 3 different classifications, he was scratching what a little hair he's got on his head, trying to figure that out too, because they were throwing threes like you wouldn't believe, and most of the time it was with players that were not their traditional high scorers. It was just crazy, one of those crazy nights.
Coach Ashley Patrick's team 16-5 overall, 7-1 in District 9AA. Let's go ahead and look at the Pavement Restorations Incorporated boys scoreboard. Cannon County boys roll against Forest 82-54. They get a huge double-figure win against Community 75-58. And good news for the Cannon County boys, Grundy County gets knocked off. So that means that Cannon County, I think, sits in that #1 slot at 7-1 in District 9AA after splitting with Grundy County during the season. And Jared Nave's squad now 18-7.
Yeah, it's an early gift, I guess you might say. Both the Cannon boys and girls district champions during the regular season. We thought we were probably going to end up second, the boys anyway, because of the games in the district tournament being played at Grundy. But that's not going to be the case now.
Go ahead and look at the DeKalb girls scoreboard, really struggling to score, only 54 points in a couple of games. Of course, 2 pretty tough opponents, White County under Michael Dodgen rebounding from their loss on Tuesday night to Smith County and Carthage by 3. They beat DeKalb 66-25, and then Cumberland County, a very much improved team, a team that Smith County beat handily in the game at Carthage, but 2 of the Cumberland County players were out. So Randy Herron's Lady Jet team will be waiting for the Lady Owls as they travel up there on Thursday night, the night that this show will air. DeKalb girls 6-19, 0-7 in the district. Looks like they're going to be in that 3-6 matchup as a 6th seed for head coach Brandy Alley.
Yeah, it's been a tough year for her, but she's got some other things too to turn her attention to with that nice shiny ring she got a couple of weeks ago.
Go ahead and look at the DeKalb County boys. They lose to White County 68-53, a game that Coach Agee was hoping to get in order to try to get out of the basement of the district, out of that 6-team district. They kind of put it all together, and we'll talk to Joey a little bit later in the show. 69-53, they beat Cumberland County, a team they led for most of the way at Crossville before dropping it. They're 9-16 and 1-6 in the district. Go ahead and look at Smith County girls. They continue their winning streak. They've won 4 in a row now. They beat Jackson County at Jackson 58-51. They were down a point with about 3 minutes left and go on a 10-0 run to wind up winning that game by 7 to sweep the season series from the Lady Blue Devils. And then Smith County last night with Chloe Collins getting 25 points and her career 1,000th point. They beat Monterey 75-33. They're locked into that 2-3 game. They're going to play Watertown. They're 19-6 overall, 4-2 in the district. They go to Cumberland County on Thursday next week. They play Watertown at home in the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports. And then they go to York on that final Thursday night, February 13th, to play against the Dragonettes. And York, for all purpose, has wrapped up the regular season crown in boys and, in the girls, Jackson County boys.
I've got to ask a question. Are you and your brother giving any kind of special coaching or teaching or whatever to that Collins girl. She's kind of lit it up here in the last couple of weeks or so. She's got all her mama's
talent, and by the way, her mom, Trina Campbell, was a 1,000-point scorer at DeKalb County High School.
Well, there you go. There we go.
Let's go ahead and look at Watertown girls, or Smith County boys, Smith loses 67-54 at Jackson County, and then they beat Monterey 74-51 to improve to 10-15. They broke that 3-game losing skid. They're 4-2 in the district. Now looking at Watertown, York girls beat them 82-47. Reese Beatty with 42, 33 of those in the first half, and then they get the win over Gordonsville 49-41 to improve to 18-5, 3-2. Watertown boys, of course, Kevin Honeycutt, their head coach, and looking at their scores for the Watertown boys, our Pavement Restorations Incorporated scoreboard. York beats them in a close one, 63-56. Watertown had a 20-point lead in the second half of that game and wound up losing by 7 in Jamestown last Friday night in overtime. Very disappointing loss for them. And then Gordonsville whacks them pretty hard on Monday night, 61-32, as they dropped 8-15, 1-4 in the district. We'll have a interview with head coach Brenna Price of the Watertown Lady Purple Tigers when we return. As we remind you, you're watching the box score brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
DTC delivers the internet you need with customer service that is second to none. We're your friends and neighbors, working non-stop to make everyday life even better.
It's time to go fight switch. Join Team DTC and choose faster internet for game day wins. Get 2 months of free service when you sign up for DTC Internet.
We're standing by, ready to help you take the next step. DTC, making a difference where it matters most.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old barred trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Here with head coach Brenna Price of the Lady Purple Tigers of Watertown High School. And coach, a big win for your team against Gordonsville in our DTC Game of the Week, 49-41. You jumped out to a big lead. Then Gordonsville storms back and ties the game there with 3 minutes left. But you go on an 8-0 run to end it to win it 49-41.
Yes, sir. We started out strong. We had kind of a third quarter lull, and then we were able to get that win, which was huge for us.
Coach, that's not a district game, but it's one that kind of prepares you for whatever your district tournament is going to bring your way. Is that scheduling them, was that geographical, or was it because of what I just said, a good competition getting ready for the tournament?
You know, we used to be, a long time ago, we used to be in district with Gordonsville.
Sure.
You know, we've tried to keep them on the schedule, kind of twofold. One, you know you're going to have some good competition there on both the girls and the boys side. And then also just trying to keep some of that geographical rivalry in a way. You know, that's a matchup that goes back longer than I've obviously even been born. But we try to keep those games on our schedule just to create some sense of routine there as well as competitiveness.
I was going to say it's also a great gate game for both of those schools. If, when you have to play each other, because it's just down the road a little ways.
Yes.
Well, of course, only playing one time. It was at your place this year. I'm sure they'll flip-flop next year. But in the game, Macy Briley with 24 points against Gordonsville. Coach, you had that high-low going very well, and I thought her and Easy worked well off of that. And, when Gordonsville was trying to deny Briley the ball like 12 or 13 foot out, left a pretty good window for your people to lob it in there to her and for Macy to finish with her left or right hand and get the bucket.
Yes, sir. We've preached all year. That's a good option for us. Macy is a good option, and I feel like each game we've seen signs of improvement there. Was excited for her to have that game on Friday night. Obviously it takes her teammates getting her the ball and everybody kind of working together, but to build some confidence as we try to close out the season. It's a new system for them. Anytime you introduce a new system, especially to kids, you got to get them to buy in. And they're seeing, I think, the fruits of their labor up until this point, trying to stick to what we feel like is best for our personnel. And she has really stepped into that role for us and has learned as the season has gone on to finish around the rim, and that's been huge for us.
Coach, looking at the standings in your particular region or district, I guess I should say, 5 teams in there. You take Monterey out, and it's one of those on any given night anybody can win over the other 3 teams. You all are 18-5. Smith County's 19-6, and York 18-5. That's 3 pretty strong programs right there that you have to go up. That's almost a third of your scheduled game.
Yes, sir. We preach that to our kids too, and I think I've mentioned this to you guys. Any night we can be beat. We saw that kind of after Christmas, a spell of that after Christmas with some tough losses there. But I think our district is very competitive. I think it prepares us to make a run potentially postseason against, Jackson County. I'm going to put Jackson County up there too. They are much improved from last year. Our tournament should be a lot of fun, and there's still a lot of basketball to be played in the next 2 weeks to kind of see what the setup is there.
Coach, when you look at Daly Height, the freshman, thought she shot the ball, hit 3 threes in the ball game, had 13 points. You only had 4 girls that scored the ball game, but she had a couple of threes there early when you jumped out to that 18-3 lead. And to be honest, you had the momentum in your side of the court until Followill got in foul trouble there, and also in the third quarter when she picked up that 4th one.
Yeah, we struggle if we don't have our point guard on the floor. We know that, and she is. We've got to do a better job about getting her off the floor when she's in trouble. We thought like it was an okay gamble. Daly Height steps in when she's not on the floor and handles the ball for us. But as you mentioned, she's just a freshman. I think sometimes kids struggle to get up to speed in high school. She really, up until this point, has played with a lot of poise and a lot of confidence, making that transition. She's shot the ball really well the last 2 weeks for us. I think she's averaging like 14.5 points a game right now. And so really proud of her. And also, I think it's a testament to Followill. She may not score for us, but I tell her she's the motor behind our engine, and we have to have her on the floor, kind of getting us in everything that we're trying to do every game.
Coach, you're in District 5, isn't that correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay, so you're going to line up with District 6 when the region rolls around, and looking at that region, kind of like your district's chances of winning out in that particular regional situation. Liberty Tech, Trousdale, Westmoreland, and White House Heritage. A couple of those teams have got decent records, but the difficulty of your district certainly puts you all in the driver's seat, I think, once the regional tournament comes around.
that's the beauty of basketball, and I've been preaching this to our kids the last week and a half. Anything can happen in tournament time. We've played Westmoreland twice, and we've played Trousdale twice. Trousdale handed us a tough loss over there at Trousdale right after the Christmas break. I would, just looking at the competition in our district, we got 2 teams that were at the Glass House last year. That makes a strong district. But I think they're going to give us every game. There could be a fight as well when it comes down to the region. I think you could see a lot of games go a lot of different ways depending on where seeding kind of falls. And I think that we have a lot of strength in our district, but I think that there could be some upsets from their district. They play scrappy, they're tough, and they don't lay down. And so I think they definitely have that going for them.
Maybe I should have asked Terry that question, because Terry, you've seen just about all 8 or 9 of those teams, and have a pretty good idea yourself, barring an upset on any given night, because we know that can happen. But nonetheless, on paper anyway, I think District 5 looks pretty strong in that region.
Well, you look Liberty Creek, they're probably going to be 1, and when you look Trousdale County right now is 2, and then you're going to look at Westmoreland probably 3, and White House Heritage 4. Of course, that could change a little bit. There's still district games to go over there, but there's only 4 teams in that district and only 5 in ours. Brenna, I want to turn our attention just a second to the rematch with you coming to Smith County and our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports. And Coach, that game now doesn't mean as much, and I say that because it looks like that Smith County and Watertown are locked into that 2-3 seed and will play each other. Of course, if you're a 2 seed, you wear the home uniforms. If you're a 3 seed, you wear the visitor. And I know you've still got Jackson County to go and Smith County to go, and I know you want to win both those games. You've already played York twice, but still looks like that regardless of who wins on Monday night, it's going to be a rematch on Thursday, February the 20th at 7:30.
Yes, sir. It looks like that's probably the way it's going to pan out. As long as York beats Jackson, we and Smith will be the 2-3 game. And I think, we knew that first game was really important. Kind of set the tone for us. I believe it was our 2nd district game. And so maybe it was our 3rd, I can't remember. No, I think it was our 2nd one. But anyway, we knew that was a big one coming out of the gate. It was a close game. I thought we did some things well, we did some things not so well. And so, like you said, we're going to see them on Monday, and then it looks like we'll probably turn around and see them on the 20th in the district semis. And I think you've got a nice ball game both nights, hopefully.
Well, we certainly hope so. Tell us once again, I think I've asked you this before because I'm not as familiar with those districts over that way. It seems odd that you all are in District 5, and it's not that far to Woodbury from where you all are, and we're in number 9, so we're opposite ends of the state. But where is your district and regional tournaments going to be played?
We're playing both the district and the region at Monterey. The first round of region obviously will be at the 1 and 2 seed of both districts, but district plays at Monterey, region plays at Monterey, and that for us is a pretty good haul.
Well, Coach Price, we appreciate you visiting with us, and best of luck. We'll see you on Monday night over at Carthage for a big District 5 AA game, hunting the 20 wins. Are the Lady Purple Tigers. I know that would be exciting for you and the program.
Yes, sir. We're proud of our group. They've made strides this year, and we're just looking to finish strong. Best time of the year, tournament time.
Okay, Coach Brenna Price has been our guest, and we will have Coach Greg Bibb of the Gordonsville Tigers when we return. As we remind you, you're watching the Box Score presented to you by Carthage Safeway.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Why do our customers choose Homeland Community Bank? Because we're committed to providing top-quality financial services while focusing on those personal banking relationships that treat you like the friends and neighbors that you are. From checking and savings to loans of all types, including those focused on business, Homeland Community Bank is truly ready to meet your needs. Contact us today to make the switch to better banking. Homeland Community Bank. Banking by the people, for the people. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Regardless of where you call home, you can relax even more when you trust DTC Security to keep tabs on your home and your family's safety.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation. Play defense like a pro with DTC Security.
Don't wait until something happens. Contact DTC Security now and take the worry away at your home.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Here with head coach Greg Bibb of the Gordonsville Tigers here on the Box Scores, brought to you by Carthage Safeway. And Coach Bibb, back-to-back nights for your team, and both of those on the road. You got the win in our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports, 61-32 over Watertown. I thought your team came out focused. Mason Greer got you off to a great start, jumped out 19-9 and wound up winning it 61-32. Got to play a lot of different kids, and I know that has to please you because I think that helps team morale and practice and all that if some of those kids that don't normally get minutes get on the floor in a varsity game.
Yeah, absolutely. Those kids, they work hard in practice, and that gives them a little bit more incentive when they are able to see the game floor. It also helps us out. We're able to look at some kids that normally don't get to play and look at them in situations where we have a few more guys that are seasoned that are on the floor and look at how they look with them in the lineup.
Coach, you had a tough game against Jackson County last night. Jackson County, I think, sitting there about 20-2. We saw them on Friday night up at their place. They have an outstanding player in Will McCrary, no doubt. Is good enough probably to be a Mr. Basketball finalist. He's only a junior. But, Coach, they've got a lot of pieces to the puzzle around them, including Parker Patterson, who can light it up in a hurry. And, Coach Kevin Thomas has got an opportunity, I think, to make it to Murfreesboro if they continue to play well.
I think so. And, they have a perfect combination of player personnel to where they got a guy that can finish like crazy around the rim, and then he can also step out 15 feet. He even made a 3 against us last night. So you're putting so much focus on doing whatever you can to try to stop him, and evidently we didn't do a very good job. He had 30. But then you're putting so much focus there, and you've got guys around him that can shoot it, as well as put the ball on the floor. Their offensive scheme, a lot of zoom sets, and a lot of cross screens, back screens, things like that to get McCrary into the post. And Coach Thomas, I can't say enough good things about him. I talked to him this morning. He just does a fantastic job, and I'm a big fan. I hope he does get to Murfreesboro, and I hope he makes a really good run.
Coach, I understand that the Foster kid, Jay Foster, is back in the lineup for Gordonsville. Tell us what, as a coach, what does that mean to you? I know he's been out and missed several games.
It has to affect us positively. Right now he's not 100%. He's been out all year until a couple of games ago. So he still has some soreness, some stiffness, had a little bit of pain in his Achilles just from not using it for so long. But that what that does for us, though, it adds another player to our rotation where we wasn't playing very many people, 7 at the most. But that adds another scorer to our lineup, another ball handler to our lineup, another defender, and another competitor. That kid's a competitor. He fights with everything he's got. And, the more he gets time on the floor, the better he's going to get and the better we'll be.
Knowing him and his family, too, he brings some leadership to the team that I'm sure you're glad to see as well.
Absolutely. We rely on Brody Sykes a lot, leadership on the floor, always talking and in the locker room as well, and that he is a leader, Jay is, and he's been there, even though he's been out, he's been there as a leader as well throughout the year.
Coach, let's turn our attention now to Tuesday night. Pickett County boys undefeated in the district. Of course, you've got a couple of losses, but still, I know that game being at home will be an emotional one. If it's not senior night, it'll be one of the final district or final home games that you have for the year. And Pickett County has kind of been the standard setter in the district for a while. I know Clay County always has a very competitive team that's very athletic. But that's in Clay County and Pickett, who is still ahead on your schedule. 2 teams that are tough that you're going to have to get by if you want to get where the Gordonsville High Tigers want to be.
Oh, absolutely. And, you want to win every game, especially this time of the year. You're wanting to build momentum and be playing your best at tournament time. And to beat a team like Pickett County, you're going to have to play your best because they're a team that don't beat themselves. They have shooters all over the floor. They run a lot of good stuff offensively, constant motion, a lot of ball screens, a lot of flare screens, things like that they free up shooters. And they're a tough defensive assignment for us. But I think defensively wasn't an issue the last time we played them. It was offensively, only having 7 points at halftime. Not going to be ahead of anybody. It doesn't matter who you play. But second half, it was a 33-32 game. Did a lot better job in the second half, and that's the way we're going to have to come out from the tip on Tuesday night.
Coach, what are the possibilities as far as the district tournament are concerned where Gordonsville's boys are being talked about? Do you have a pretty good idea who you're going to face in the first round, or are they still got too many teams that are so much alike, you just got to kind of wait it out and see who wins and who doesn't?
Well, I've kind of hashed it out in my head this week. I think Clark Range has been beaten twice by Pickett, twice by Clay as of last night, and then once by us. So they have 5 losses, and we have 2 right now with Pickett County and Clark Range. With only 2 to play. So it looks like we're going to be in that 2-3 game. And then Clark Range and Red Bowling would be in that 4-5 game, the play-in game. And we would be playing Clay County in the semis. Right now, what it looks like is going to happen the rest of the season is mainly just the color of a jersey that's going to be determined.
Coach, it's almost like trying to pick your poison a little bit because the district is so top heavy. Anybody that you're going to face, even if you do finish second, it's still going to be a battle, it looks like.
Oh, it is. Clay and Pickett, what they bring, and Clark Range is much improved. Clay's athletic is all get out. They have shooters around the perimeter. One thing they're lacking this year is they don't have that post that they usually have, but they got the Nate Adams kid can score it as well as anybody that we played, and his little brother Nolan Adams is such a great athlete. And then you got the Burchett kid and the Eads kid that can shoot it as well. So they're a tough matchup, but at that time, it's that team that is playing the best at that time. District tournament comes around that's going to be successful with it. So that's what the rest of our season is about, and that's what we're talking about. Just get better every day. Try to be playing your best at that time.
Coach, looks like Mason Greer is kind of rounded into form. I know he hasn't played every year of his career. It'd be scary how good he could be if he had but he's really using his muscle down low. And, I got to see part of the game last night against Jackson, and seemed like he held his home against a much bigger McCrary. And I think as you go into postseason, and I'll take last year's example, you'd lost to Pickett there 2 or 3 times during the regular season, but then you turned around and got them in the region finals to get that sub-state game at home, and you go all the way to the semifinals of the state. I know you don't want to lose to Pickett every time, and you don't want to lose to Clay County in these games that are reigning. You also got Whitwell, but still, playing your best basketball when the latter part of February and the 1st of March, that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir, that's it. And comment on your Mason Greer comment, he has really gotten better, and he's such a joy to coach too. He's such a good kid. He tries to do everything that you ask him to do, and it would be scary if he would have played every year in high school. But getting him back this year, I'm thankful he decided that he wanted to play this year, and he's gotten better every single day. So we're excited about that. And yeah, you're right. It's once we get finished with Whitwell on February 14th, the record goes back to whatever it was, to 0-0. So it doesn't matter what you've done up to that point. I talk to my kids a lot about the 3 RPs. You renew your perspective, remember your purpose, and release the past. The past, it doesn't matter once you get to that point, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, it's in the past. You learn from it, you look forward. I told them last night, our eyes are forward. We learned from last night what we could have done better, and our eyes are right now on Salina. We're not going to dwell in the past.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you visiting with us. Best of luck to the Gordonsville Tigers for the rest of the regular season. Final week approaching us, and then the district tournament. I think that's at Livingston, so best of luck.
All right, thank you, sir.
Coach Greg Bibb of the Gordonsville Tigers has been our guest, and we'll have an interview with Joey Agee, the DeKalb County Tigers head coach, when we return, as we remind you, you're watching The Box Score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
DTC delivers the internet you need with customer service that is second to none. We're your friends and neighbors, working non-stop to make everyday life even better.
It's time to go fight switch. Join Team DTC and choose faster internet for game day wins. Get 2 months of free service when you sign up for DTC Internet.
We're standing by, ready to help you take the next step. DTC, making a difference where it matters most.
Why do our customers choose Homeland Community Bank? Because we're committed to providing top-quality financial services while focusing on those personal banking relationships that treat you like the friends and neighbors that you are. From checking and savings to loans of all types, including those focused on business, Homeland Community Bank is truly ready to meet your needs. Contact us today to make the switch to better banking. Homeland Community Bank. Banking by the people, for the people. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here with Joey Agee of the DeKalb County Tigers, and Coach, it had to feel good to get that district win over Cumberland County.
Yeah, I told the boys last night, that's probably the most complete game that we've played in a while. It seems like over the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's been something different for us every night, whether it be missed free throws or missed layups or, whatever it may be, or just not shoot the ball well from the outside. Last night, felt like we played really well. we only hit 1 3 last night, but we didn't take a whole lot and really, attacked the paint. And, we felt like we had a little bit of advantage size-wise, and we knew they were going to play us man. But, yeah, the boys played real well last night.
Coach, we've interviewed a couple of coaches already, and it amazes me with this 4 classification situation. I can't keep up with who's in what class and who's in it with them, but are you a proponent of 4 classes, or did you enjoy the 3-class system that we had for so long better?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I really like 3 classes a lot better, and that's just probably because that's what I played in. And we had, when I played, our district was Macon, York, and Smith, and Cannon, and us, and Livingston, and might have been one more that was in or out of there, but Jackson County for a long time. So we, I felt like when we went to 4 classification, some of the rivalry games kind of, we still play Smith, obviously, and Cannon, some of those other ones, but I felt like, some of the rivalry was lost in the fact that we, moved districts.
Coach, you're going to come up with another district win since Cumberland County has 2, one over y'all, which you led a lot of that game, and they beat, I think, White County. So you've got to try to come up with another district win in your final 3 district games, which is going to be a tough call to do, but you need to do that to try to get into that 5th slot rather than finishing 6th.
Yeah, I told the boys, actually even before the White County game, that we needed the White County game and the Cumberland game to kind of put us in the spot that we can move up a little bit. Now our last 3 district games is against top 3 teams in the district right now. So, you just got to go try to make some noise and hope, some other people help you out along the way and see if you can move up as much as you can.
One of those games is at home. That's Stone Memorial, and that I'm sure that's, to a certain extent, that's where your focus is. Everybody likes to play at home if they can, and that's going to be an awfully big night when you all face each other on Valentine's Day, it looks like to me.
Yeah, just like everybody else, probably they feel like they play a little bit better at home, probably shoot the ball a little bit better at home. So, that'll be a big game for us once it gets here. But right now we're focused on, going to Upperman on Friday night.
Coach, a team in the first quarter that you played with against Upperman, and then, of course, they've got a very dynamic player in Ty Cobb that, is one of the leading scorers, I guess, in the Upper Cumberland, and, they've got some weapons around him.
Yeah, I mean, he had 19 against us that night, but the thing that hurt us most of all is I think they had 5 other kids that scored in double figures or right at double figures, so probably held him under his average, points per game, but all the other guys did a good job on their team to score the basketball when they had the opportunities. And, we've been watching film today and just trying to make some adjustments for the kids and, on the defensive end, and really watching film with them today. We missed probably 3 layups early in the game that we should make. And, when you're playing against a caliber team like that, you just can't give those points away. And knowing that they're going to make a run at some point, you got to be able to try to extend your lead if you can a little bit, just knowing that they're going to eventually make a run on you. I felt like we really lost that game in about 2.5 minutes, to be honest with you. And even though it went from, I think we were maybe down 5 or so, in the second quarter, and then all of a sudden you look up at halftime and it's 40-20. So you just can't give up those type of runs against good teams.
Coach, with the 5 schools that we cover here, we've had quite an array of injuries. We've got some schools that haven't experienced a major injury at all. We've got some that finally are getting some players back, and we've got some more that have lost a couple of key players on either the boys or girls team in the last 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks. How is everything with the DeKalb County's Tigers right now?
Well, we've been pretty fortunate up until the last couple of weeks. Logan Duke, he had an ankle sprain a little over a week ago, I guess. one of the guys that started most of the year, a big body for us, and he's trying to work his way back in. He's played, a few minutes against Sparta, and he played, a little bit more last night. I expect him probably to be close to fully back on Friday night. But with about 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter last night, JP, our point guard, Jordan Parker, he goes after a steal and steps on the kid's foot, rolls his ankle. So we're kind of unsure about what he's going to be able to do Friday night when we go to Upperman. And that's kind of your catalyst a little bit. That's your major ball handler. So the guys will have to step up if he can't go.
Coach, you got a couple of freshmen that have given you some good minutes. I think, one with the ability to hit the three, and then the Hancock kid that comes in and makes a lot of hustle plays and seems to trigger you on both ends of the floor with an offensive rebound, with a tip, with a steal. That speaks volumes for them to be able to get on the floor and have some meaningful minutes, which should help you the next 3 years.
Yeah, they've played enough basketball now that I don't really consider them freshmen anymore. They're getting, a lot of quality minutes each and every night. And, there's times that I can tell they're not comfortable out there, but that's just part of being young. And, we've been really pleased with the way Porter and Elliott played. We'd like to, I told Elliott, I think he hit 5 threes against Watertown at home.
Wow.
And I told him after that game, I said, you can forget ever towing that three-point line for the next 3 years of your career. You're never going to do it again. So just for him to understand a little bit more about how to score, when everybody knows what you can do, you got to be able to put the ball on the floor and move without the basketball to get yourself some open looks. But Porter does a great job. He does a real good job of cutting off the basketball if somebody's in trouble, and he gets a lot of points off just intuition about knowing when to cut and where to cut, and he does a really good job for us.
Coach, I know you've lost a lot of close games this year, and with only one district win, you've got to try to get another one to try to get in that 5th slot. But if you stay in 6th slot, of course you'll be matched up against the number 3. Are those going to be satellited out, or you have to go to the number 3's home court, or is that going to be at a neutral site?
Actually, we'll be at a neutral site for the first 2 rounds. We'll be at Cumberland County. They got drawn for, if we couldn't have Tennessee Tech for the district tournament. So first 2 rounds will be there, and then the semifinals and finals, I hope. We're in hopes that we'll get to play that at Tech, but we're not totally sure about that yet. And if not, all of it will be hosted at Cumberland County.
Coach, don't you feel though, if you have to play a number 3 team and you're the lower seed, that going to a neutral site could help you unless you face off against Cumberland County, which is not going to be. And is there a particular team that maybe you match up with better? I know it's all about matchups at this time of year. You see some teams struggle with others. Even if it was a 2-7 matchup, sometimes that's not a good matchup for the 2 seed. Is there one team that maybe you match up or perform better against?
Yeah, well, like Livingston right now is tied with Stone for second. We probably, out of those 2, if we end up staying the 6th seed, out of those 2 teams, we probably match up better with Livingston, just size-wise, to be honest with you. But I don't necessarily think that we didn't play very well at Stone, so we get another shot at them. And you never know what's going to happen. White County beat Stone last night, which is, I think for everybody was probably a little bit of a surprise. But so night in and night out in this district, you better be ready to play, just because you never know what's going to happen.
Well, Coach, I know I got to see the Livingston at the Cap game, and Coach Miller's son had an outstanding game, 28, 29 points, whatever he had that night. And then, of course, everybody knows about Mr. Capps at Stone Memorial, just what a prolific scorer that he is. So best of luck to the Cap County Tigers, rest of the regular season and the upcoming district tournament.
Appreciate it, guys.
Okay,
Thanks, Coach.
We've been visiting with Joey Agee from DeKalb County, and we'll have more of the box score. We'll take a look at the upcoming games. We remind you, watch the box score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway.
Why do our customers choose Homeland Community Bank? Because we're committed to providing top-quality financial services while focusing on those personal banking relationships that treat you like the friends and neighbors that you are. From checking and savings to loans of all types, including those focused on business, Homeland Community Bank is truly ready to meet your needs. Contact us today to make the switch to better banking. Homeland Community Bank. Banking by the people, for the people. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old borrowed trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
And welcome back to the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway. Terry Collins along with Murphy Ferry in this final segment. And Murph, it's turnaround, second round, playing everybody. You've played them maybe on the road, now you're playing them at home or vice versa. I know Cannon County now done with their regular season district race. They've still got some non-district games to go. A lot of teams, some have 3 games left, some have 2. Right. But one of those matchups will occur in our game of the week, which is Watertown at Smith County. That will be the Huff Puff Trucking game of the week on Monday night. That girls game, Murphy, if Smith County wins at home against Watertown, then they'll have a coin flip for second place if Smith County doesn't upset York at Jamestown, and that's like beating Russia at Russia. That's very difficult to do. And Reese Beatty is back, which makes it nearly impossible. But still, those 2 teams are going to meet the first round of the district tournament. Some 10 days later on Thursday, February the 20th at 7:30. It'll just be a neutral court this time when they play at Monterey. So they're going to get familiar with each other. This one doesn't mean as much as the semifinal game does.
There's something wrong with the locations of district tournaments when Smith County and Watertown, that are 20 miles apart, maybe 25, have to drive all the way to Monterey to play a first round game.
Well, the great thing about that, Murphy, we don't have to go to York, so it could be worse.
Well, that's true. Could be worse. Absolutely.
But looking when these 2 teams first met, Watertown won against Smith County girls 39-37, broke a 6-game losing streak for the Lady Owls. Molly Followill, as always, Daily Hyde, a freshman. You've got Easy Burns and Macy Brayley inside. You've got Juliana Pruitt. Coach Brenna Price does a great job with him. We had an interview with her earlier. Watertown boys struggled to score in that game at home. It was the second district game for each of those teams, as Smith County boys won it 58-28 in Watertown. They jumped out to a 11-point lead after the first quarter and cruised to the win. And that's one thing that Watertown's Purple Tigers have got to do a better job of, and that's scoring the basketball. Murphy, I know that's not a switch you can just flip.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they'll be prepared for that very well. Both of those girls' teams right there are playing awfully good basketball right now, and I think that's going to be a great game. Whether you've got a dog in the hunt or not, it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Let's go ahead and look at when the replay dates of that are. That's going to be on Valentine's Day at 7 o'clock. Get you a bag of popcorn, sit down with your sweetie, and watch a couple of basketball games.
Unless you're at another game live, right?
That's true. And then, of course, Smith County don't play on that night. Gordonsville does host Whitwell on that night for their 2 schedules. Smith County finishes their regular season on the 13th when they travel to Jamestown. Saturday, February the 15th at 7 is the replay. Sunday, February 16th at 7, and then Monday, February the 17th at 1 p.m. Let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games for Cannon County. And Murphy, you get the short trip to Winchester and play against a higher class team in Franklin County, the Rebels.
You've got to play Franklin County, and then the next Friday night they've got to play Warren County. Both of those 4A teams, and as far as the girls are concerned, Cannon County's girls beat both of those teams early in the season back in 2024.
I think that'll be a good measuring stick for Ashley Patrick's team. Of course, they had Teeter in that first game. They won't have her in this second game. And, the enormity of her loss, we've spoken about that on this show before. Now Cannon County's getting more used to playing without her, but that doesn't make it any easier.
No, it doesn't, but it has allowed some younger girls to get out on the floor and get a lot of quality time. So the rotation is considerably better than what it was when Abby Lynn Teeter was still playing.
Only one game, Murphy, in a week, which should allow Coach Patrick to get back on the practice floor, and maybe these girls get their legs back under them a little bit.
Well, that's what they're trying to do, play tougher teams and not go 10 days, 2 weeks without a ball game at all. They're still playing a game each week before the tournament begins.
Of course, a lot of teams, some are having to play 2 and 3 games in these final weeks to try to get everything caught up. Let's go ahead and look at the schedule for DeKalb County. Of course, on Friday night, they've got to go to Upman, Justin Malden's alma mater, and I don't think they're naming the floor after Justin that night. We'll still wait and see, but still, they're going to a very tough place to play for DeKalb County. Upman has already beaten DeKalb twice on the girls and boys side in Smithville, and then they've got Livingston Academy at home. That could be a key game for the boys. DeKalb boys playing better if they can finish games. They played people close. They've got to finish games, and that could sneak them up to that 5th slot in the district standings.
I know they're going to be working awfully hard on that, and certainly we want to wish Coach Agee and his team a good effort that night.
And I'll take that back. That game is not at home because we had that for a DTC game at home. That game is at Livingston on Tuesday, February the 11th. So I do apologize for that. But then let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games for the Gordonsville Tigers. A tough place to play. Anytime you go to Salina, Rob Edwards playing on his court that's named after him. And that girls' game was a doozy. I think it was a double overtime Gordonsville win at home. Callie Underwood at the end of regulation hits a 3. They go to double overtime. That boys' game at home, kind of circle that one on Tuesday, February the 11th. That should be a great one. Pickett County girls, the number 1 seed, probably in the District 7A tournament. They're kind of flexing their muscle. But still, that boys' game, but Greg Bibb's squad against Joseph Amonette's squad could be your top 2 teams in the district.
And that February 11th game is at Gordonsville, right?
That is correct. Yeah,
wow.
Gordonsville will play Pickett. They've already went to Byrdstown. And that's a real short trip, about, 80, 90 miles up there?
Kind of like going to York.
Right, definitely is. Let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games for Smith County. They go to Cumberland County and play Crossville. The Jets and Lady Jets, they got 2 wins at home. County won a close one in the boys. Cumberland County boys shoots a lot of threes. Be ready for that. And then on Monday night, they've got a big district game at home against Watertown. Looking at the Watertown games, of course, going to flip the script there. They're going to travel to Monterey. Of course, on the boys' side, Watertown needs to get a win if they're going to try to get up into that 2-3 matchup. Right now, as it is, Watertown looks like they're hung in that 4-5 matchup, which is play-in game, and then they'll go to Smith County, which is our Huff and Puff Trucking game of the week on DTC Sports. A couple of big games, especially for the Watertown boys. 2 teams that they feel like, I'm sure, they can compete with.
So much pressure on so many teams, and here we are at the end of the regular season, and still a lot of unanswered questions.
And the seeding's still up for grabs, and some of that may not be determined until after the year when they have to flip the coin if there is a tie. Well, thank Justin Malden and all our fine sponsors for Murphy Fair. I'm Terry Collins. Good night from the Box Score.